I'm here with Tebe Zalango, international violinist, singer, songwriter, rapper, spoken word and recording artist, composer, and motivational speaker. How you doing today?
Man, blessed, man. Thankful to be here. How about yourself? Peace.
Man. I'm great, man. Thank you. You're known for bringing the violin into hip hop and rap. What inspired you to blend these genres, and how do you approach integrating such different musical traditions?
Well, my mom started me off in the violin when I was like 5. And throughout school, I was always in orchestra. But once I graduated, I started composing, started putting a lot of the ideas I had in mind to just letting it flow because the music always had like a passion in my soul that needed to be expressed. So it's like I didn't know how it was coming, but it just had to flow. So eventually, over time, I started doing spoken word and then applying the violin with the spoken word. And then I started putting violin samples together, sending it to DJs and producers, getting beats put around the violin. And next thing you know, I put the spoken word and then the hip hop, and it just became a thing. And then man, anytime really how a song comes to me, really, it just God gives me the flow. I just be minding my business and the melody won't leave me alone. It's like there. Like so it's like I take it and then as I listen to it more and more, it's like I get an understanding if I'm gonna rap on it, if I'm gonna do spoken word on it, or if I'm just gonna let it be a composition all by itself.
Man, that's incredible. I was listening to Flow of the Nile Volume 2, man. That's incredible. Can you walk us through your creative process and when you're composing a new piece or song?
All right, so songs come to me in different ways. There's multiple ways. It's like the way where like I meet up at the studio, they drop the beat, and then we write it right just there. The song probably get wrote like 20 minutes, recorded probably like an hour, 2 hours, hit all the harmonies, and boom, there it is. Um, whereas far as sometimes I travel. Like I say, I might be in a different country looking at a desert or looking at an ocean or a sea and just reflecting on the goodness of our creator, man. Like, man, this is amazing. And then, through that inspiration, through that praise to him, through that understanding through him, it's like my flow just flows through and it's just songs come out of nowhere. And it's like I take these songs and I use them in ways to try to help people and raise the vibration of people's understanding. Then it's the third way where I'll just be at the house and it's like I might wake up out of my sleep because a song might just wake me up. And it's like I can't go nowhere because that song got me hemmed up. So I got to just go ahead and do what I got to do and get it done. And then I'll give you 5 ways. Then the fifth way was probably like right now I'm sitting in my car. This is like my office really, but I might be here in the driveway or so and just reflecting. Next to a beat come or somebody has send me a beat. I'll listen to the beats and get in my zone and make something happen. But really, I give you 5 ways, but it could come like in like unlimited amounts of ways because it's really how God chooses to deliver the message to me. And once I get it to my heart, I really can't move until it comes out. So it's like I'll spend hours or minutes depend on who I'm working with. If I'm working with some musicians who got a really good ear, it ain't gonna take no time. But if I'm working with some people that you gotta check their ear a little bit, it might take a little bit, but we still get it done. But either way, the creative process is about man serving God because that's
That's incredible, man. And thank you for sharing that. I feel that that's a great answer. Which artists or experiences have influenced your sound and artistic vision the most?
well. What inspired me to start playing the violin? See, my mom used to listen to the classical radio station a lot, and it was Antonio Vivaldi's Four Seasons. It was like what they was doing on the violin was so crazy to me. I was like, whoa, that's dope. Like, man, I want to do that stuff. And my mom heard me like, oh, you want to do that stuff? I'm like, yeah, it's cool. And then she put me in there, and I didn't realize how much practice I was going to have to put in. Man, that stuff is crazy. All the practice you had to put in, I wanted to quit multiple times, but she wouldn't let me. So shout out to her for that extra push behind me. So Antonio Vivaldi definitely. My mom's definitely because she was a DJ back in the day, so she always kept me plugged on the what she used to spin and how things like that. I would definitely say a lot of reggae music really motivates me because not just listening on the radio, but like being at a concert because you gotta feel people that's moved in the spirit. Like every time somebody get on the stage, they come with a different kind of spirit. So it's like certain vibes, you know what I'm saying, create a certain vibration and atmosphere for creativity to thrive. So I might be at a reggae concert, you know, and just the way I feel because the way they just give they all to the people and to a movement, it just motivates my spirit. And all of a sudden, I stay high like that. Next thing you know, I'm writing songs like back to back to back to back to back to back to back, and it's just flowing, boom, 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 boom. You know what I'm saying? So it's just I get inspired by traveling, you know, seeing God, what God do to different areas. That's musical to me. Like what God, everything is vibration in this world. You know, it's science. You know, atoms is always spinning. It's frequency.
Sure.
So the science of the ocean and the mountains is music to me, and it just moves me to want to create music as well. See, it's like I uncreated creator inspires me so much. Everything he does, when he does it through specific people, I feel it and I sense it, and it resonates. Like when Bob Marley was on stage, I felt that. You know, it was just movement to me. You know, when Michael Jackson was doing this thing, it's just I felt that it was movement to me. So it's like when people dedicate their all to the craft with all their passion, you know, it ain't about the money. It ain't about just coming up. It's just music flows through them. I resonate with that because, you know, it ain't really just fun to me. It's like I travel and stuff. People are like, oh, it must be fun traveling and doing all that. I'm like, man, it's like kind of like saying it must be fun breathing. I mean, it is fun breathing. I'm thankful to breathe, but it's like if you stop it, it's like, how would you feel? And it's like the music flow through me so much. I really don't need to listen to anybody else. It's just I just need to listen to God, and I have songs for eons. So the creative force and inspiration is definitely Yahusha Hamashiach. I gotta say his name, Jesus Christ, Yahusha Hamashiach, Iyahawashai, Yahweh the Son. So that's the number one creative force in the universe, and that gives me everything I need to make songs unlimitedly.
Man, that's powerful. I definitely believe in the law of attraction and just like, the power of music, like, to influence your vibrational state. And Tebe, you describe yourself as a singer, rapper, violinist, composer, and spoken word artist. How do you decide which medium to use for a particular message or project?
Well, usually, it's all about feeling. It's like I feel for the music. Like if you got all the lights off in the house, and you feeling for the light switch, you know, it's like where is it at? And it's like, oh, there it is. It's like I'm feeling for the music, so I'm feeling for the energy. So if I get on stage, a lot of times I don't know what I'm going to perform. I don't know how I'm going to perform it. So it's like I feel the energy. I'm like, okay, I feel it. I feel it. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. I might hit the studio when the beat plays. If the beat plays and it has like a something moves a certain way, it's like, all right, this is a violin ballad right here. I'm like, if the beat hits a certain way and it's melodic but it's choppy and I can rock with it, it got the 808s hitting a certain way that's like radio ready right now. I can make a hit with it. So let me go ahead and drop a bar with it, drop some flows with it, and then on the hook and a little intro, outro parts of the songs, drop violin here and there. It's just a creative process and how it flows. So the number one thing is staying connected in prayer, staying connected spiritually, doing what I need to do, and in that part of my focus. You know, as long as I'm staying focused in that part of my focus, my creative flows, it don't stop. There is no writer's block over here. You know what I'm saying? You can't have writer's block when you serving the King of Kings because he keeping that's unlimited waters right there. So you know what I'm saying? That's how it flows. So when I get into a musical state, it's more so listening to what the song says, what story the song says, what ideas the beat plays, and feeling how the music should flow, whether I should put my violin on it, whether I should make a singing song to it, or whether I should sing a hook and rap a verse, or whether I should make it all singing or all rapping. It just depends on the rhythm and flow and how I move in the time and what really God say to my heart.
Man, I've heard you mention God, several times, which is powerful. Like I think like, there's a lot of artists clearly, not serving God. What role does, raising awareness through your art, playing your music, are there specific causes or messages is your passion about sharing?
Well, I think throughout history, we understand the thing called vibration in science. You know, you know, what 432 hertz is, and then at a certain time they change frequencies to try to keep you irritated. And me, I'm kind of like a scientist without a degree, so I love the idea of tapping into frequency and sound vibration. So understanding that, there was this doctor named Dr. Remoto who did a science frequency experiment where they believed they could turn water back, or a snowflake back into a snowflake once it melts, because water holds information. And then, you know, they had people praying over water and things like that. And then when they froze it and looked into the microscope, it had a geometric structure with it. And then when they had people do negative things and speak negative over the water, it had like a cancerous structure over it. So just knowing the science that the vibrational frequency that you speak from your own mouth and being can literally, you know what I'm saying, create cancer or create healing vibrations. You got to be aware in this position, or on your stage, because you got a position where people listen to you. People have a song stuck in their head. It influences their days. It influences how they move. It influences their mood. So when you want to dedicate your gifts to a greater good, you want to put your whole being into that. So it's like, look, all right, somebody over here thinking about offering their own on switch. Like, why? We got a song for that. We can inspire them. You know what I'm saying? We could use these gifts to stop, you know what I'm saying, negativity in the world, based on the battle that people fight day to day within their own mind. One movie I just watched recently, you know, don't judge me falsely or crazy, but I watched like cartoon type movies, like you know what I'm saying, what was that, you know, Kung Fu Panda type stuff, you know what I'm saying, like that Spider-Man in Miles Morales type stuff. But recently it was this thing came on called K-pop and the Demon Hunters. You know, they was singers, right? And their vibration was so crazy that they was healing different areas. So for the demons and devils to get at them, they sent singers at them. You know what I'm saying, to try to create a different vibration to capture people negatively. So and I felt like that related a whole lot to what we're doing musically in this world, because we want to raise the vibration in areas where people want to come at us and try to lower the vibration. You know what I'm saying? So it's a spiritual battle. So you got to stay, you know, with the whole armor on.
Most definitely, man. It's powerful. Definitely. I feel that. How is your background and upbringing? You're in Decatur, right? Like the Central Illinois. How's that shaped your musical journey?
Well, really, the whole 217, really. I was born and raised Decatur, Illinois, went to South Shores Elementary, Thomas Jefferson Junior High, you know what I'm saying, Eisenhower High School. Played ball all those years. Sports and athletics have always kept my mind focused and trained. Um, my pops ended up going to the league, actually. You know, he played ball on a different level. But within that, the discipline, always staying focused, always staying in shape, always moving around, that kept me in a state of mind, kept my mind moving. Then you have it's really the 217, because I'm in Springfield a lot too. I'm in Champaign. I was in Champaign a lot too. So this whole area really is like home to me. But Decatur is where I was born and raised. So it's like how it shaped you is like different talent shows, different critics, different understandings of how I need to raise the bar. So it's like Decatur, Illinois prepared me for going to the rest of the world. So how my demeanor be, how my focus be. You know, I might be in Ethiopia solo. I might be in Egypt or Mexico by myself. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yo, why is he not clicked up? You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, one, I'm rolling with the Most High, so I ain't got to worry about nothing. But two, how I carry myself, how respectful I am, you know what I'm saying, will determine, you know what I'm saying, how I can move. If I move disrespectfully, then I might close some doors. You know what I'm saying? But as long as I carry that light, you know what I'm saying, that's within, and realize it's greater with the he that's within and he that's in the world, I could move freely. You know what I'm saying? But anytime you move in the wrong area, you know what I'm saying, you fall off. So Decatur trained me. It trained you to stay focused. You know, it's a lot of haunted places in Decatur, you know what I'm saying? They kind of train you to be like, oh, whoa, 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 this stuff is real. So hey, spiritual warfare is very necessary, you know, so you can't really move around away from it. Like you in some areas where it might be so crowded, people can kind of like daydream about it. Oh, that's just, you know, that ain't real. Nah, but if you around here, you kind of know that stuff is real. So it's like, some people kind of tune it out their mind, but some people get spiritual enough to deal with it. So it's like that helps when you moving throughout the world because a lot of people have a lot of different spiritual practices. You don't know where people is at mentally and spiritually when you move in these other countries. So you got to be careful. You got to know where your faith is, and you got to stay strong with it, and that allow you to move. So Decatur has allowed me to move. Teachers and elders like Dr. Fahim Judah El and Bana Kantako have all inspired the journey. You know, world travelers and lecturers and scholars that have been dedicated in their life to understanding higher understandings of life. So those kind of things always push me, make me push myself.
Man, that's powerful. I've spent like some time in the area of Central Illinois. I went to school, went to college in Jacksonville. And that's actually how I actually came aware of you because I have a friend who works at UIS and he was telling me about your music, man. And shout out to him, Kurt Piskin, for like putting me on and telling me about your
Yeah, shout
music.
out to him. Shout out to you. Hey, shout out to you.
Yeah,
Hey, much love on that. All praise to the Most High.
definitely.
Yeah.
What's the most memorable performance you've had and what made it stand out?
Whew, I really, it's like, whew, it's like, I'll be so focused on what God wants me to do in that moment that it's hard to really focus on, the performance. Because, like I say, it's just channeling, what I'm saying, understanding on what I'm supposed to do, on what I'm supposed to express. Now, I can say in Jacksonville, Florida, at playing the violin, somebody broke down in tears. That was
Wow.
pretty interesting. San Diego, California, somebody did that as well. In St. Louis, somebody just broke down and just was boo hoo hooing at the end of the show and just couldn't stop. And that kind of just blew my mind a little bit. Ethiopia, when I was out there performing there, it's just, just being there and the culture being it with so much ancient history, it just felt so, what I'm saying? I don't know, I can't explain it. It just was just a beautiful experience. But as far as the performances, man, Texas, I would say would be the most supportive. Like I'd say in San Antonio, man, they got a lot of stuff really set up for the arts down there. Man, they showed a lot of love, man. But I really can't pinpoint one place. I could pinpoint food. Like New Orleans got the best food I ever tasted in the world.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know
for
what I'm
sure.
saying?
The food is amazing. I think
Yeah.
like just down south, like the food is just like generally better. You know, like it's really amazing though. You mentioned earlier that like when you started playing the violin, that like you had thoughts about like giving up, but your mom was there like to encourage you to make sure you didn't quit. And as we know, like the arts, just like doing anything in the arts is just like tough. I talk like regularly to like a lot of different actors, rappers, and just like, how hard the entertainment industry is, how do you handle, creative challenges or push through periods of self-doubt?
Well, you know that everything externally is, a reflection of within. You can see a car somewhere. So your homie, your lady could get a new car, and all of a sudden you notice that car everywhere in the street. It's really once you understand energy go where your focus go. So when you focus on truth, you focus on love, you focus on moving in harmony, you focusing on honoring the laws of life, you focus on what I'm saying, the spiritual principles, and you stay there. Like when you stay there, you're good. But see, what the world do is give you circumstances and challenges that trying to get you off of there. And when you get off of there, that's when you could stumble a little bit. You could fall off of there with lust. You could fall off of there with gluttony. You could fall off of there with pride. You could fall off of there with a lot of negative things. So all these negative things could block your energy flow and block your creativity and block your inspiration.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because the whole idea of negative energy is to slow you down. And if you got creativity and gifts that the world is supposed to receive, then you got to be in position to protect those gifts. This is warfare down here. You got to war against ideas and thoughts that want to take you out of bounds. You got to stay in bounds with your affirmations, with with daily cleansing. You know, you need to fast every now and then, take your juices and things like that. You need to be able to pray consistently and know who God is in your life. You know, at one point at the end of 2020, right before not the end, at the end of 2019, right before COVID kicked off, I had like I said, I had been 35 states, 7 countries. I was like, yep, that's good. We done now. I was like, yeah, I'm finna go ahead, relax. Yep, I might still make some albums, but I ain't finna be on tour like that. I went coast to coast, letting people know it's genocide out here, letting people know what's going on out here. You know what I'm saying? I keep dropping albums, they'll know what's up. Then I got on at Lowe's, you know, I started doing contracting because my grandparents did contracting. It gave me a sense of warmth because both of my grandparents could build houses and stuff like that. So that I like being at Lowe's, talking to the contractors and seeing how they was doing and things like that. It gave me a sense of peace, and I was giving them peace. It was kind of one of those things. But when I was working there, everybody was a producer, everybody was a musician, everybody was an engineer, everybody wanted me in their studio. So I was like, all right, God, I get it. All right, ain't no retirement. All right, we're gonna do this. We're gonna keep on doing this. You know what I'm saying? And we're gonna keep on doing this. So we got album number 8 now. I just finished album number 9. I'm working on album number 10, about to drop that. You know what I'm saying? So with the inspiration is when you walking with God, God walking with you. You know what I'm saying? When you get those thoughts that you feel like, yeah, I might slow up a little bit, you always got somebody say, hey, you cold. You reminded me that I was slipping and I need to step up. I'm like, hey, you was cold. You inspired me that I needed to take care of my health. And you get these little messages here and there and get reminded that, yo, this ain't really about me at all. You know what I'm saying? This ain't about me. And once you can lose yourself, you know what I'm saying, lose the ego in it and really realize it's bigger than us. You know what I'm saying? Hey, it takes it to a next level. I don't care how I feel. You feel a certain way, like you got to go punch that clock. You still got to go punch that clock to get that money. Well, then what about how you feel? You know, you don't want to go to the studio. You know what I'm saying? But who you gonna worship? You worshiping money, huh? Because you gonna get up when you don't feel like it to punch that clock, but you ain't gonna get up when you don't feel like it to hit that studio. When God gave you the gifts to go to that studio, so who you worshiping? That right there, your actions show. You know what I'm saying? Who you with? So as long as you keep your creativity first, I don't care what you're doing. If you're a writer, you better write a paragraph every day. You know what I'm saying? If you make a beat, you better hit a button every day. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you do, you got to always keep in mind. You know what I'm saying? You know, talent. It's like that fig tree. You know what I'm saying? You want to be producing good fruit. You know, you don't want to get caught slipping out here. So because when you get caught slipping out here, that's when the world take advantage against you negatively. So keep your mind spiritual in a spiritual state.
Man, I needed to hear that message, and you reinforce some beliefs like that I have, just like how important it is, like to listen to messages from the universe, and how God will send you signs. I think like that a lot of times, like the universe is just so powerful, like it can keep you on the right direction that you're supposed to be on, especially like when you're getting off track and stuff, where you have like doubts. And like I thank you, like for reminding me of that. Like I really love like Florence Scovel Shinn. She's like a metaphysical writer, and she wrote like metaphysical works, and she really was big on that. And she talked about like intuition, and like she said like intuition is God phoning to you. Are there any dream collaborations or genres you like to explore in the future?
Well, my first love is hip hop. You know, I love to sing. You know, really the late '90s R&B, early 2000s R&B. I really love that. But I really just love music. So it's like I love that hard trap type stuff with melody though, melodic things moving through it. That makes me want to sing on the hooks and rap on the verses, and that's what I would preferably do because hip hop is, where my heart is at because I write all my lyrics. I don't really mess with no ghostwriters at all. You know what I'm saying? It's like I don't think rap ghostwriters should exist in hip hop. I think ghostwriters should exist in movies. You know what I'm saying? Write for some movie actors to rap. You know what I'm saying? Don't write for hip hop rappers, because we need people who got that truth in their soul to express their soul and to be on a level where we can receive that. Y'all blocking that by putting this artificial stuff because you rapping another man's soul, and that just don't work like that. That's not true to me. So for me, I love hip hop because I want to be recognized for the lyrics that God has given me. You know what I'm saying? God has given me lyrics where I could just write lyrics in my head without even using paper. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yo, I'll recite in front of 1,000 people what God done gave me and I wrote in the car mentally. You know what I'm saying? I was in the Bronx once. Uh, I was on the train coming from Manhattan to the Bronx. We was going to the Bronx. I was writing a song in my head. By the time we hit the studio, I recorded it in my head, and they was like, "Okay, okay, okay." I'm like, "Yeah, we can all do that." You know what I'm saying? It's just about exercising more of our mind. You know what I'm saying? It's mind power. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I get that. I disagree with you a little bit about the idea of ghostwriters. I understand what you're saying about like, the soul, but like take Quentin Miller, for example, like, how he's ghostwritten for Drake. I wouldn't per se like listen to Quentin Miller, but like, because like, Drake used him as a ghostwriter, his work still gets an opportunity to get out there and be heard and like, be able to make a living like, for his family. I mean, I think it's a place, but like I don't necessarily I feel like artists should be more open about that, acknowledging their ghostwriters. I think like that obviously like you're not going to consider somebody like the greatest rapper who used a ghostwriter. That just sounds ridiculous. But I think it's a place for it. I think like that they should do pop splits with the publishing, like where it's like ghostwriters should get an equal share of like if the artist writes. But I see why people like I think in hip hop like don't feel that it's an acceptable thing. But like I think it's a place for
I agree with that. I agree with you with a place for it. Like I said, movies. You know
yeah,
what I'm saying? Movies. Like, let the rapper be in movies. You know what I'm saying? Like Power. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
right,
Like,
right,
or
right.
whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? Movies. Or when they drop the movie soundtrack. You know what I'm saying? Let the rapper drop it based on the movie. And when you give awards based on this movie rapper, so everybody knows that he ain't wrote his own lyrics. So when we want to deal with who's the best in hip hop, we don't even discuss them. We discuss, you know what I'm saying, real stuff. Now, if a movie rapper wants to write his own lyrics and join the debate over here on who's the best, then let him say, okay, boom, this album, I wrote everything. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Now I join the discussion. Okay, you know what I'm saying? If you want to go back and forth, let Drake go back and forth. Let him rap in the movies and then rap something real for us, because that's what's real in hip hop and in our heart, man. It's original from the soul, and we want to feel that. I feel the most
Yeah.
from the soul when I feel that. You know what I mean?
Well, like Easy E though,
Yeah.
like he wasn't a writer in the beginning, like when he dropped Easy Does It, I think like the DOC and like Ice Cube were writing for him. And like, a lot of people like don't look at him any different than people who wrote, even though like I know later on he wrote some of his stuff, but those songs they still hit. Like, I still like have like, some easy songs in my playlist, but like, I digress, man. What advice would you like to give young artists who want to break boundaries in music like you have?
I would say find your purpose. If you just go into the studio, smoking, drinking, freestyling, you know what I'm saying? It's like going to the park playing exhibition games, but you want to go to the league. You know what I'm saying? Find a purpose. Find a purpose in what you want to do. Have a marketing strategy. Have your flyers that you want to push. Have the way you want to move on the internet. Have, you know what I'm saying, the styles that you want to present to the world. Have an understanding and an overall goal. Have a target audience. You know what I'm saying? And be dedicated. Be focused. Don't be out here just out doing it as a hobby. You know what I'm saying? Because it could potentially change lives and change the world, including your life and the world inside out. So, you know what I'm saying? Take it serious enough to really put something behind it. And that's really anything in life. I rock with Michael Jordan. Shout out to LeBron James and everybody that do their thing. I love the sport. You know, my dad went to the league, you know what I'm saying? But hearing his stories about, you know what I'm saying, staying focused and pushing through it, you know what I'm saying, no matter what, it just defined a champion for me. And then I was able to experience that personally when I was on a JFL football team. You know what I'm saying? It was the Jets and Giants. We had to do practice like I ain't never seen before. It was like I ain't feel like we was supposed to be doing this in junior high. You know what I'm saying? I felt like we was doing some stuff that grown men was doing. You know what I'm saying? We was like, man, I'm like, we got a bear crawl to live for the football field and back. What? Hold up, that don't even feel real. You know what I'm saying? But we was undefeated though, undefeated and unscored upon because we was ready. So the idea of what a champion does in my mind is different, and that level of focus will take you there.
That's incredible. You say your dad went to the league. Who's your dad?
You know what I'm saying? So let me break the story down all the way for you. If you know back, it was the NBA and the ABA.
Yeah.
So my dad name, you know what I'm saying? If you look him up, his name was Perry Hines. He hooped at SIU, you know what I'm saying, Southern Carbondale down here with Mike Glenn and them. I think Mike Glenn ended up going hooping. He went to the NBA. But so with Lakeland Community College, he started there. He ended up breaking all their records, and they got a date for him in Mattoon, Illinois. It's April the 9th. Um, so he ended up going from there to the ABA, and right when he got drafted to the ABA, the NBA bought the ABA out. So they was taking some ABA teams and some ABA teams they didn't want. The Memphis team that he got drafted to, they didn't the NBA didn't want to take them. So he had to go to another NBA camp. So he ended up getting sponsored to go to the Jazz, New Orleans Jazz. But he had got hurt in the whole process. You know what I'm saying? So you know how injury do with sports and things like that. So he ended up coaching for a while, and then after that, he ended up opening his own business, and that's what inspired me with my entrepreneurship, because that's more so what the family been on for a long time, and just being able to have your own business, being able to be your own boss about things, not having people having to step on eggshells all the time. It's important because a lot of us got that hunger and it's got that drive and it's we got to put it to use for our own creativity, our own development versus bringing each other down.
Yeah, man. I think that's like really important. The like especially like me, like I got three kids, right? Like I want to like leave them like a legacy. Like I don't want them to have to like go and like be looking for a job from somebody, especially from somebody like a different race. I feel like like a lot of times like you setting your kids up for failure because racism is real in this world, and like it's really hard like being a person of color, like sometimes to get a job or deal like with some of the discrimination that goes on at a job. But you got The Flow of the Now Volume 2 out on Apple Music right now. You got any other projects you want to like talk about, like you're planning on releasing in the future?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Definitely. The Flow of the Nile, Volume 3. I dropped that a while ago, but right now, we are really pushing in the heavy. The Flow of the Nile, Volume 5. It's really 4 and 5. I just shot a music video off the album called Meditation. It was shot by Glass Imagery. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Jay Busy. Shout out to Boss Stereo for making that happen with Stereo TV. That was a really dope video shoot. Shout out to them. We got another single coming up called "Who Do You Love?" That's on that same project. Please check that out. And I also got a joint project coming out with Eddie Sand, the producer. That's coming out soon. So look for that in the fall. And then after that, in the winter, like right at the solstice, right at the 21st, you know what I'm saying? Go ahead and look for the Flow of the Nile Volume 6. All right, that's coming. All right, I'm working. I'm steady focused, and we dropping stuff. We working things, making it happen. Look for the book to drop too pretty soon. I'm working some things out with that, but I'm so focused in the music, I really ain't just put all the pieces together with the book. The book is written, the book is done, the book should be dropped, but it's like going through the book process is different than going through the music process. So we working on some things, but look for the book too. If you need to, just check out the website, com. I'll try to keep you updated on everything I got dropping. And I usually follow my social medias pretty much the Instagrams and the Facebook at Tebe Zalango, TebeZalango. I mean, just hit me up, let me know what's going on, and I'll probably be free to collaborate on new projects with other artists too. So the whole thing is to stay in the creative process and never to be satisfied with what I put out before.
Most definitely, man. Tebe, I definitely enjoyed this and I appreciate you for taking the time. And we made this happen on such short notice, man. I really think it was a divine thing. Like, I think it's so cool, like how technology is. We could be like 2,000 miles apart and like, be able to connect and, have a great conversation. And just like, I look forward to seeing so much more of your success in the future and following your journey. And you're always welcome back.
And all praise to the Most High. I thank you for inviting me. As soon as you hit me up, I knew, okay, God ready to move me to do interviews. All right, let's move. That's how my whole process was with it. Thank you, and shout out to the listeners that check this out. Appreciate y'all. Check out the project, man. Let me know what you think. Subscribe and like me on YouTube. Let me know. Put in Tebe Zalango and meditation. Let me know what you think about that video. That's the latest project. All right, I got a lot more coming soon.
Most definitely. Appreciate you.